What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and today we're on a subscriber account, Snow Me the Way. Not at all like an anime version of Elsa. Here we have Solitaria. She is just so darn cute, right? Now, what we're doing today is we're going to try and make some headway. We're going to try and progress on this account. We're going to collect some rewards and show you kind of what I've been doing. But mainly, what I want to focus on today is going into gear, looking at the gear, seeing what's good, seeing what sucks, getting rid of some of the things that we don't need, and making way for when we have a free unequip. That way we can strip everything and start from scratch. This player doing a very good job staying on top of their hero side stories. They finished the last one, and I started a new one in Ran. Have not gone into that, but very important way for you to get a lot of catalysts so that you can make your hero stronger. Now we're going into the Enraged Blazing Emissary. This one has 8 days left. This is end game material. Most of you should be able to do the Hell level, and I've been doing that as well. And this is the team that I've been using. So, I mean, mostly this is free to play stuff. We do have one limited hero right here, and then we do have a couple of ML5s. You could probably swap this out with a fire team or maybe even another water team if you had it, but this guy doesn't have access to too many heroes, so this is what I was able to do. Now, I say this is end game. A lot of this is not really, I don't want to say it is necessary for new or even mid-game players, but it's going to have some good things. You get modification stones, you get Molagora, of course, and you get some more things that you can summon. The exchange takes about 12,000, and you can see I've stopped just shy of that 12,000 mark. Now, I did that on purpose because, I don't know, maybe I'll try and do Epic Hell. We'll see. We will see. But for the most part, I want to have access to what is free. And then I'll be able to go in and do other side stories, maybe come back to this. But I need desperately to re-gear his heroes and gear up some heroes that we're going to utilize not only for this, but for going into Guild War, going into Arena, maybe even building a Terranor Guard team to take care of some of the Abyss as well. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to really getting in there and stripping out all of the guys that are currently built and then trying to gear them back up in a very conscious way, keeping track of what we're looking for at end game and also, how we're going to get there. So look at that. Okay, we have 4,000 left. Let's go ahead and we are going to capture this one. And then this Inferno, that is going to be for these things down here. Now, some of you might be wondering what's going to happen. How much access do we have? We have 10 here. So if you come in and buy the Dark Connection to try and summon something, a lot of you are going to do that, right? That's not a bad option. And then probably we're going to pick up these modification stones here with the remaining amount. That is probably what I would recommend. Very nice. And then we're going to snipe these last two. Now, if you are going to do Epic Hell, I need some more there. If you're going to do Epic Hell, then you can get everything. But if you're just doing Hell until you're maxed out and getting everything from the exchange, that's probably what I would do. You probably don't need to come down and get the rest of these. Now, one thing I do want to show you has to do with your mailbox. So you can see that we have 6 days up here at the top because it's listed by time received. What we need to be doing is time left. Now, it hasn't changed, right? Because 6 days, change it to the up arrow. Now, this is going to put your things that are expiring first at the top. Very important, especially if you're like me. What I like to do is I like to keep my mailbox stacked with a lot of energy. So every single time that I come into play, I go through my routine and then I will pull anything that's going to expire within a day, sometimes even 2 days. And I need to see it at the top or else I'm going to forget about it. It's going to expire, and then you lose out on all those free rewards. So make sure that you're adjusting your mailbox accordingly. Also, I think sometimes what you see is that the Smile Gate will issue to us a 1 day reward for watching a video or something like that, and you're going to totally miss it if it's at the bottom of your mailbox. So, very important here. And then we're just collecting a ton of rewards. Wow, that is amazing. Let's go. Maybe I got another summon ticket somewhere. That would be cool. No summon tickets, but we did clean up the mailbox, and now we can see everything at the top that's going to be expiring. One thing that I saw from this player, and one thing I see from a lot of players, is that they leave a lot of AP on the table. When we come into the AP exchange, we were able to now come in and finish these out. If you have anywhere close to 100, then farm it up to 120. If you have above 120, farm it to 240 and so on to make sure that you're buying all of these catalysts. This is going to help you out quite a lot when you're leveling up your heroes and when you're trying to really maximize their potential either for gear, cycling faster, or landing more debuffs. Do not neglect your AP. This is exactly what I did on an AP day. So I wanted to make sure that I am fully utilizing what's available. Now, in this case, we see a level 71 piece of gear. Do not buy level 71 gear. It's not going to roll the same substats. When we come into the episode number 3, we do see that we have level 80 gear. Buy this. Level 80 gear will roll the same substats as your level 85. You just can't reforge it. But look, it starts at a 33, which is very nice. You see here that I have a red dot. This is another thing I often see is that people do not finish out their trust level. So you're going to get some rewards like 7 sky stones for each one of those. Skip the story, you can read it on your own. And then you're going to get a cool frame and a cool background. So make sure that you finish out all these. Super simple, and you're able to then get more rewards basically for doing what you would have done anyway. Here we go, tower level 5. We are going to try and auto battle this. Now, this is the tower that has burning and bleeding and detonating. So we have basically those things, right? When you land an attack, apply bleeding to everyone. And then I think it's for the light hero. We're also applying a 3-turn burn, 50% chance, and 100% counterattack to the front row hero. Now, what I usually like to do is I like to run the Green Landy. I like to run Seaside Bologna and Montmorency. And then whoever I put in the front row is usually a knight with a provoke. So something like a Senya or something like a Fallen Cecilia work really good here. And then I try and pick up the artifact or the device for increased effectiveness. Because what that allows me to do is allows me to counter, provoke everyone. They never get their S3 off. But most importantly, it blocks healing. Because if you can keep that healer under provoke the whole time, then it makes the fight rather easy, and I do like that. Now today we're using Navy Captain Landy because why not? This seemed like maybe we can just damage our way through it. I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. And I'm gonna turn this off just 1 second. I'm gonna try and soul burn here. Soul burn the healing because without that knight, my Landy is getting smoked. So let's do this, and then we'll turn back auto battle. Now we did see that Destina got a heal there. That's exactly what I'm trying to prevent, that Destina heal, by bringing in Provoke. But I don't know, it just seems so fun to bring in Navy Captain Landy. She destroyed on all other levels against the trash mobs. She's doing pretty good here as well, but I question whether I can kill this Destina once everything else is dead. So let's see how that goes. Now, a lot of these heroes are not built amazing. I haven't had a chance to rebuild them all yet. So I think we'll do much more damage. We'll be a lot more tanky after we rebuild, like, let's say, Landy, and definitely Montmorency as well. But for right now, this team appears to be working pretty well. I probably didn't even have to do that soul burn, but it makes me nervous when I see everyone getting low on HP. Man, and there we go. That's it. That's wow. Almost. Almost full auto. Almost. Before we really get into the gear, let's go down into the shop and spend some of our conquest points. Now, very important, we talked about this in the past. Buy the Molagora. Do not buy the energy as long as you have gear to buy. This is going to be something that you're going to buy like when you have all of the current season gear and all that past season gear too. Now, this player wasn't doing a ton of their arena, so that's why we see that they have not purchased any gear. Now, what I want to do is I want to buy the right side gear first. We almost have enough to buy 3. So let's see if we can buy out 2. I like the helmet. I like the ring as well. Then hopefully we'll get a chance to buy those boots. Now, if you are not able to spend your endurance crest, these are going to convert into conquest, but the conversion rate is just terrible. It's something like a 4 to 1 or something. Like 1,000 of these is going to give you like 200 of your conquest. So it's really bad, really bad. I don't know what the conversion rate is off the top of my head. If you do know, put it into the comments. We're going to see that once preseason ends. So you only have a couple of weeks left to buy out all of your gear. And now we're going to go in and let's start to roll some of this gear. Now I'm going to roll these gear pieces first. Since you got to see me buy them, can I? Is it there? It is there. Plus 15. Let's go. Okay. I think I saw some speed there. Nice. Hey, this one turned out pretty good. We see a 92. I want a 90 or higher. Closer to 100 would be better. But we got rolls into health, max roll into health, 2 3s, and then we see what 3 rolls here. So it looks like 2 7s, but it's not 2 7s. Most likely it's going to be like 5 and a 4. No, that can't be. This one must have been. I don't know. I can't count. Let's just move on to the next one. Let's see. Here is the necklace. I want to get everything except for crit chance. Can we get like, I don't know, a million speed? Is that possible? Oh, max roll into crit chance. We do get 1 roll into speed though, and we get a 91, so we're above our threshold. This crit chance not really going to be very reliable. Anytime we have a health necklace, we mostly want to put this onto like knights, like soul weavers, debuffers, even. We're not going to be putting this onto heroes that do a lot of damage. Now, in some cases, I do like to see health necklace, crit chance, crit damage, maybe defense onto something like an Apocalypse Ravi or onto something like a Brieg or something like a Bellion. Something that you can take a little bit less on crit chance and still do quite a lot of damage because they are health based. Now, if this were something like an attack necklace, I don't want crit chance at all, so keep those things in mind. Let's go now into our equipment, start to sort through this, see what they're rolling, and then get rid of anything that we're not going to be able to use. Now, this person has it on acquisition, which is good. It's going to show you the gear that you have acquired last, but you see that we have some gear that's not enhanced, mixed with some gear that's enhanced. What I like to do is go to max enhance. Then I like to set it to the up arrow, and that's going to show me all of the gear I haven't enhanced yet. So it doesn't really matter when I get it. What I'm looking at is, have I looked at it? Do I need to sort through it? Do I need to maybe finish it? This gear, maybe they started, ran out of materials. This one's 71, so I don't recommend that you roll this gear. Level 71 gear will not roll the same substats as level 85, and you can't reforge it, so it's automatically going to be too low, right? You're going to end up with underpowered gear, underpowered heroes, so don't roll anything that's level 70, below 75. Now, maybe they started this piece of gear and it didn't quite roll the way they wanted. Now they're on the fence. They don't really know whether they're going to keep going with it. And that's totally cool, right? But this will give you a chance to put it at the top and you can see it. I also like to come in to show equipment score because I use the equipment score to determine if this piece of gear is good or it's not. But let's talk about the weapons. Your weapon will always start with your flat attack, which means you cannot roll flat attack into the substats. Also, weapons do not roll defense. So you can't roll flat defense and you can't roll defense percent in your substat. So if you have something like a Lionheart Sirmia, because you cannot roll defense onto your weapon, then you want to stack this up with the other stats that she needs, like health, like crit chance, like maybe crit damage, like maybe effect resist or speed, right? Those combinations. Now, you also, on the opposite end of that spectrum, if you want to roll something like a Green Sid, or you want to roll something like a Straws, because the weapon is a really good place to get attack, we want to get at least 2 rolls into attack. So let's say you start with a 7 and you get 2 6s, right? So that's going to be something like a 20 that will reforge into a 24. That's what we want. We need at least 24 onto whatever main stat that you want for that hero. So you need at least 2 rolls into it. So if it's straws, I want to see attack, crit chance, speed, maybe crit damage. Then I want at least 2 rolls into attack. Now, if you're going to use a crit chance offset, then you don't need to have any rolls or maybe 1 roll in a crit chance. If I start with, let's say, a 4 and I roll another 4, that's 8, it'll reforge into 10. And I have 6 pieces, and they all do that. That's 60 plus 15 is 75, right? Now, with the crit chance set, that brings you up to 87, which is pretty good. If you want to get to 100% crit chance, you need at least 1 roll into crit chance on your pieces on average. Now, if you want to use torrent set or you want to use pen set, then you need to have at least 2 rolls into crit chance to get to that 85 to 100% crit chance. So anything that rolls less than 2 rolls, we need something that rolls 3 rolls, or we're going to have to offset with a crit chance offset. So those are important to note. Now, when we go into the helmet has a flat HP main stat, and it can roll pretty much anything except for flat HP into your substats. So going back to our example for Lionheart Sirmia, we want to see at least 2 rolls into defense here. Maybe a roll into crit chance, maybe a roll into defense, and then another roll can go into whatever. So I want to see something like health, defense, crit chance, crit damage, speed, or even attack as that last one right here. If we look at something like straws, I want at least 2 rolls into attack, then crit chance, speed, crit damage, or maybe even effectiveness, right? You can't always roll perfect substats, but you can get something that's pretty close and that's going to be pretty acceptable. Maybe this is like a health percent or even a defense percent. Just because it rolled into those, you don't have crit damage, doesn't mean you can't use it on that hero. Now, if I have something like a shoe, then I want to see HP, defense, crit chance, speed, crit damage, effect resist, attack, something like that, with at least 2 rolls into your HP. You're going to need to get more defensive rolls for defense-based heroes because you don't get any on your weapon. And similar, we go into the chestplate. Chestplate starts with a flat defense, which means you can't roll a flat defense substat, but also you cannot roll attack substat, so it's just opposite of the weapon. So if I roll something like a straws, right, this is your opportunity to get a lot of crit chance, a lot of speed, maybe a lot of crit damage because you can't get any attack. If you're rolling something like your Lionheart Sirmia, I want to roll a lot of defense. I want to roll a lot of HP, crit chance, speed, those types of things. And those are going to help you out quite a lot when you're building this type of hero. Now, I didn't talk about the Knights and the Soul Weavers. It kind of follows the same pattern. When we are looking at a weapon, You want a lot of HP, speed. You want to have effect resist, maybe even effectiveness. When we roll into a chest plate here, then we want something like a HP, defense, effect, resist, speed, or effectiveness, depending how fast you want them, and they can roll into all of those things. Then you're probably going to use an HP necklace, an HP or a defense ring, and then a speed or an HP pair of boots. But let's go ahead. We're going to start sorting them now. So this one, the only one unlocked, I like to extract what I'm going to have for equipment conversion. I like to sell things that I'm not going to convert. So when I'm looking at extraction, I mainly look at the sets that are hard to get or the 4-piece sets. So something like a speed set, maybe a counter set, maybe a life steal set, an injury set. Those are good. Torrent set as the offset, or a pen set. Now I'll pretty much sell everything else. Let's go now into the equipment and start to look at it and start to sort through it. Now this one is a unity piece, and we see that we have health, attack, and crit damage. Max roll into attack and max roll into crit. Very nice. We get a 30 equipment score on an epic piece of gear. I want at least a 29, so we're starting at the right value. Now, if it rolls a lot into attack or into crit chance, then we can utilize that on an attack-based hero. If it rolls into HP, and not into attack, or maybe one or two rolls, we can use it on a bruiser. But keep in mind as well, something like an A Ravi that scales off of health will still get damage from attack. Now, this is Unity set. So what I usually do is I try and pair Unity set with each other because I don't have just a ton of those Unity pieces, right? So in this case, we only have a ring and we only have a weapon. So if I have someone that I think can use these, then I will use them. This one in particular, I want to avoid this crit damage, go into health, speed, and effectiveness. So let's see what we get here. Now this one comes from the Labyrinth. We get a max roll into health. Well, not a max roll, 8's max. 7's pretty good. We see some effectiveness. That is what I want to see. Then let's go into some speed. No, more effectiveness at a +9. I want a 57. I want a 57. I get a 69, so I'm way, way above with these max rolls here. No crit damage. Okay, good. At a +12, I want at least a 66. So I get a 76. Keep in mind, though, that this cannot be reforged. I think that is good. I think that we would take this all the way up to the max. And we get some more health. Very nice. So I want at least a 90. I get an 89. Just as good as heroic reforged gear. Now this one here, right, doesn't quite match this ring, but let's see what we get. We get a max, well, pretty close to max roll into attack. We get a, what was that, a 5? So we get basically 2 6s. All right. Another one. Interesting. I don't know what that was. This averages out to like a 7, and a 6, which is pretty good. If we can avoid this, we can still get a pretty good piece. At a +9, I want a 56. I get a 59. We can reforge it, so that will be good. Oh, what in the world is that? 33. 4 rolls into attack. That's going to give us like a 5 or a 6 reforge. Now we're at almost a 40% attack. I think you have to. I think you have to do it. And a max roll and a crit chance. Very nice. When we reforge this, look at all that attack. 40 attack. I was way off. I said a 5 or a 6. It's actually a 7. 40% attack with this crit chance. You mod this one into crit damage. You mod it into maybe even effectiveness or speed. This is going to be a good one. You can put this onto a ton of heroes. Now it is onto Unity set, which isn't amazing, but think about it like this. You know, if you put this onto someone like a Surmia onto that Unity set, or put it onto someone like a Camilla or a Mui, right? That will help out with your Hall of Trials or help out with your hunts. I mean, don't avoid Unity set. It's not amazing, but if you can roll pieces like this is a good piece to keep. So that was fun. Let's see what else we can find here. Now, this one is a hit set. We see crit chance, crit damage, health, and effect resist. It's not a bad stat line here. You're going to want to use this onto a damage dealing health that also wants to have effect resist. Thinking someone like an Arya, we can't get defense on here. So hopefully we can roll quite a lot of health and crit and a lot of effect resist. This one is a speed set. Health, effect resist, attack, crit chance. This one is going to be a little bit similar, right? Yeah, a little bit similar. We have three substats that do go together. I just don't have anyone to use them right now. And now we have another one, pretty similar as well. I want a 29. I get a 29. Health, crit chance, crit damage, and effectiveness. When I'm looking at a weapon like this and I'm looking at a crit chance set, I want one damaging stat. So if I put it onto like a Brieg, right, then I want to see health. If I put it onto like a green Sid, I want to see attack. So not a lot of heroes are going to do very well if you have to mod one of these into their damaging stat. So let's say this rolls all effectiveness, damage, and crit chance. Your Shu or your A Ravi, they are not going to do well on just 8 health. Similar, if you want to roll like a Straws, right, then they're not going to do well on just 8 attack. So I need to have some rolls into the damaging stat, or else you're going to have underpowered heroes. I'm not sure I really have anyone that can use this. Maybe something like a Brieg, like I said, maybe something like an Illinev or a Mort. We get a min roll here, low roll into health. It still averages out to a 6. I want a 38. I get a 36. This is not something I'm probably going to continue. We get an okay roll here into crit damage. I want a 50. I want a 47. I get a 46 now. And another low roll. That was like a. Well, it was a 7, actually. So not bad. Not bad. I want a 57. I get a 56. But I want at least one roll into crit chance, or else I'm not going to be able to make this very good. So this is going to be a 3 reforged. It comes to a 22. So at a plus 12, I want to see health, or I want to see crit chance now. We do see health. Low. Low, though. 3 rolls. That's like a 5 and a 5 and a 6. So not amazing. I want a 66. I get a 65. And when this reforges, it's going to reforge, I think because it rolled 3 times, it's going to reforge into like a 6. So it's like a 30 health, which is actually pretty good. I do want to see that crit chance there, though, at the end roll. And we get effectiveness because, of course we do. I want an 80. I get a 78. Actually, it's not a bad piece. We can definitely find someone to use this piece as we start to go through. Now, this one here was a piece that we bought from the, what was it, episode 3? I think it was episode number 3. It's all these pieces. This one here at 71, we're not going to keep this level 71 gear. 80 is good. This one's a 71. I don't want to keep it. If you already have these, maybe you can use it onto somebody, but not something I want to keep. Now, oh my goodness, what is this thing? 39 into effect resist. I'm thinking Kayron now. I'm thinking Kayron would work pretty well with that. Did you get any others that rolled similar? I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any. Wow, that would be amazing if we could pair this onto a Kayron with the um with a destruction set. Now, obviously, what I would want is a counter set, right? Maybe you can pair this onto an Arya, super high effect resist. That would be, man, that would be so cool. But let's go ahead and we're going to try and roll some of this gear here. level 80. We get an 8 into defense. Okay, you know what? It's not my first choice, but not terrible. Max roll into crit chance now. And what I would consider a max roll into speed. So at this point, I want a 56. I do get a 65. Oh, I don't want to use all my resources though. This is one that we are going to continue all the way up to the plus 15, but I don't want to burn through all that quite yet. Let's see what we get here. We get a max roll into effectiveness again. An okay roll into your attack. And a max roll into attack. So that's like a 6 and a 7 equivalent. It was actually a 5 and an 8, but works out pretty well. I want a 56. I get a 61, so very nice here. We're definitely going to continue this one as well. And let's see what we get in this chest plate. Probably max roll into effectiveness. Of course. I can't even time that right. That was so funny. Max into crit chance now. Or that was crit damage. And I got an 8, then a 7 here. Very nice. I like it. I like it. We're going to max all 3 of these out. This is the free equipment, or from the AP shop that we picked up onto episode number 3. So very good. And then you know what? I'm thinking like Mooey, right? We get effectiveness, we get attack, we get crit chance, we get crit damage. If I don't want to roll into health, but anything else will be good. And I'm thinking Mooey. W13 sounds pretty amazing. Here we go with a very good piece of gear. We see attack, we see crit chance, we see effectiveness. I would want to see maybe speed here, maybe even crit damage. If it rolls at all into that flat defense, it's going to be a nope. And we get a 7 roll into attack. Nice. 6 roll into effectiveness now. I want to have a 49. I get a 49. Max roll into crit chance. I want a 57. I get a 60. Very good. Now, when we're talking about, modifying this bottom one into speed, right? If we have 4 speed on every piece, speed set, speed boot, now we're getting into 200 speed, which is going to be pretty good for a lot of your heroes. They don't need to be super fast, and it still gives you an option to now pivot into something else. So that's going to be good for us. Now let's go ahead and we're going to roll this all the way. No whammies. There's the whammy. Wow. It's a jerk move, bro. Jerk move. Even though we got a flat roll into this here, this is still going to be a very good set. Now, I think we can modify this. Do we have a speed? We don't have a speed. When we modify this, it's going to give us, I think, 3 to 5 onto speed, so still going to be good. Now this one here, we see not bad. We want to avoid this effectiveness, mod this into a crit chance, then I think you have a good pair or a good helmet. Of course, we get a max roll into effectiveness. We get 2 max rolls into effectiveness. Did that just happen? Wait, is this real life? Did I get 3 max rolls? Can I do math? 3 times 8, 24. I can do math. Wow. What in the world? We won a 57. We get a 63. Now this is going to roll into a 33 effectiveness. I think at this point, wow. We're just going to go all the way. That's crazy town. All right. Very nice. An 89? Are you joking, kidding me? That is nice. Wow. Pretty good. Now, what I would want to do is pair this with some other pieces of gear that have high crit chance or mod this crit damage into crit chance. Now you're going to have a pretty decent piece. We're going to lock that one down. Let's look at the reforge real fast. I don't have any mats. 34, 18, 8. Man, that's pro gear. This is going to come out to probably about 103. Very nice. Let's take a look at this weapon. Again, we see attack, speed, crit chance. We want to avoid this effect resist. You can mod this into crit damage. You can even mod it into effectiveness. That will be good. The second that it rolls here, you can choose to keep going. You can, even though it's a low roll, you're going to mod this out and your equipment score will get a little better. The problem is now that do you have enough of your materials? What if you roll really amazing into everything and then your plus 15 roll goes here and now you have to mod this out? So this is something that I choose not to do. That was a good example that kind of sucked. It kind of stung. It kind of hurt me. But that was, I guess it was a good example of what we don't want to have happen. Oh, this one, very nice. I like this. We get a 29. Now, this is something that I'm going to keep. Maybe we're going to figure out who we can use it on. Maybe like a brie egg, right? That would be pretty awesome. Same thing here. We got a 28. Now, I will accept, I want a 29. I will accept like from 26, maybe even a 25 if it has the right substats. And then as long as it avoids effect resist, I think we're good to go. There we go. We get a 4 into crit chance, a max roll into attack. Let's go. Can I get a +4 roll into speed? That would be amazing. I want a 57. I get a 57, right? Because we get a +1 roll at that 10. Good attack. I like it. I like it. Another 4 roll into crit chance. That is very nice. Now at this point, we want a 66, get a 68. No matter what it rolls into, let's go all the way. No effect oh, why do I say that? It hurts. It hurts me so much to say it. I don't know why I say that. But we want an 80. I get an 81. Very nice. Let's come into another couple of weapons. Now this one is not bad, right? We see speed, we see a max roll and crit damage, and some crit chance. Now this, along with another combination of speed, crit chance, and effectiveness, is not bad to run. But keep this in mind. If you don't have a damaging stat here, then the problem is that you're going to run into heroes that have pretty good speed, maybe even pretty good effectiveness, then don't do a lot of damage because you're missing that attack. You're missing another thing to sort of piece it together to make it cohesive into damage dealer gear, right? Rolling really high into crit damage, not as good as rolling really high into, let's say, attack or really high into health. Although this one is turning out pretty nice. Now, if I take this to +9 and I want to keep it, right? I want to have a 50, I get a 50. Going to +12, totally useless. You take this all the way to 15, and you hope for a damaging stat here, something like attack percent. If not, you have to modify it. But you can still utilize this piece very well. I mean, I'd like to have a little bit higher rolls, maybe a 6, maybe a 7 would do well here, but you can still take this all the way up and have a good piece. Let's see it. Effect resist, max roll. Not what we wanted to see there, and definitely not what we wanted to see. We need to modify this either into HP or into attack. HP based damage dealers do not do well with 6 health onto their gear, right? Now, if this was attack, if we modify this into attack, that's much more forgiving. Let's look at another piece, and we're going to find a place for that. Let's look at another piece that's going to be very similar here, like this. We see a 25. I want at least a 23, but similar situation. We don't have any kind of attack-based stat. So when you put this on a damage dealer, like they're not going to do very much damage. We get a low roll there, and then we're going to go ahead and we are going to abandon that one right away. Let's look at some boots now. Now this one here is health. We see crit chance, crit damage, and effectiveness. Not terrible. I want a 23. I get a 22. I don't think that we're going to be keeping this one, but that is not too bad. Instead of effectiveness, maybe effect resist here would be pretty good. Maybe even you can roll something like a speed, right? On that other pair of boots, not this pair of boots. That's confusing. This one is speed, crit chance, crit damage effectiveness. I like it. I like it. Now, what I would want to see is a damaging stat. We talked about this. When you have your weapon or your gear and it doesn't have a damaging stat, then we need to roll really high into like crit chance and crit damage. And then we need to roll into higher attack or HP or whatever onto your other pieces. This rolled, I don't know, is that 666? I don't know. I don't know what it was. It averages out to 6, which is amazing. 7's the highest. So really great crit damage now. I like it. Now on heroic piece, I want 50 here. I get a 54. On epic, I want 56. So it's right in between those two things. Really great. Now, if you're going to take it to a plus 12, then take it all the way to a plus 15, right? And then just imagine that you're just going to mod this bottom one. So what are we going to mod it into? Well, it's either going to be probably HP or it's going to be attack, right? But we can use this onto like a Lilka, right? Gangsterka, right? Or we can use it onto something like Camilla. We can use it onto. We talked about Brieg. Probably not Brieg. Probably not. Maybe even that Mui, right? We take that Mui onto destruction, onto hit set. Let's do it. Let's do it. I like this piece all the way, bro. We get. Oh, that sucked. We got flat health and a plus 15 rolled in a flat health. Come on, bro. That's not right. I want a 74. I get a 71. So this was on track to epic quality. And then we get a pretty terrible plus 15. So what does this look like? Whether it's health or whether it is going to be attack, you're going to get something like a 9 or a 10 here. Pretty good. I would keep this piece and mod it into, I think, the attack would be the best choice. Let's go into the next one now. This one is pretty good, actually. So we see speed, we see health, crit chance, effectiveness. This one's flat defense, which isn't bad. If you have a 600 base defense hero, this is about 5%, which isn't terrible. If we avoid this defense, you can even mod it into your defense percent if you want. Or if we avoid effectiveness, take this a defense percent, and now you have this 5% flat defense working for you to give you even more defense. For crit chance, I want to have a 38. I get a 35. I want to have a 47. I get a 42, so we're below. We did roll 2 times into crit chance on a crit chance set. Not bad. Not bad. They're not amazing rolls, but you can keep it. Now we got a low roll, so now we're going to get rid of it. Now, if this is practical boots, right, this is for equipment conversion, then I do like to get the cores. If this were anything else, then I probably would just sell it here and get the dust. But you'll get more cores from your equipment conversion pieces than you will from your other pieces. So I like to do that. Let's see this one now. This one is health, defense, effect, resist, crit chance, good. We can pair this with one of those other pieces we rolled on a hit set, something like an Aria. Something like an Arya. There's a lot of heroes maybe you can use this on. Now, if one of these were speed, maybe we can pair it onto an Arrowell or onto a Crow or something like that. I'm gonna keep that one. That's not a bad one. This one, similar to the one we just rolled on a crit chance. We get a 4 defense or way under. I want a 38. I get a 33. Have to abandon that now. Level 71. Don't roll this. Don't. I'm gonna leave it here for you, just for fun. Don't roll it. Now let's see what else you've rolled. So this one is a plus 15 already. Wait, I rolled this one. Did I roll this one? I didn't roll this one. This one's good. I like it. It's a 71. I want a 74. It's a little undervalued, but look at this. 26. You rolled 3 times, then your plus 12 roll, and then you rolled probably this flat attack. It was like a 5, and you rolled a 4, which sucks. When you reforge this, look at that 31 into effectiveness. You can use that onto something like a Lua, right? Even something like a Knockwall. I like it. That's a good piece. It unfortunate that you got 2 low rolls, but still a pretty good piece. This one, defense, speed, health, crit damage. This is something you shouldn't have even started. We see defense percent. We see speed, health. These are 2 good things. Now this crit damage is out of place, right? We're not going to put this onto like a Moonlight Ken. We're not going to put it onto like a Moonlight Bologna who have guaranteed crit. We're not going to put it onto a Charlotte. So you want to see something like speed, health, effect resist. That would have been a better stat line. So this one we want a 74, we get a 70, but this is something that like who are you ever going to use this on? Nobody. It's not something that I would keep. Now we see speed. Wait, no, this really is the piece that I rolled. That piece is good. Obviously. Obviously good. All right, defense, effect resist, flat health. Should not have even started this piece. If you have a flat stat here on heroic, you just throw that one away. I want to see percent, percent, percent. Now, if it's an epic piece, I can get 1 flat and then just hope it doesn't roll into it more than once. But with the heroic piece, you're getting a 68 here. When I reforge this, it's going to be only an 80. This is worse than some of that level 75 gear that you're going to roll. It's worse than the 78 gear that you're going to roll. So don't start by hampering yourself right at the beginning. Go for percent, 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 and then you can, no matter what it rolls into, that's going to be a good stat line for you. This one, again, terrible. When I see health, I want to see defense, effect resist, speed, maybe, right? Then I can put it on like a Crow or an Airwell. If I see health, I should see something like defense, crit damage, crit chance. That would be good as well. This, no one's going to use that. Nobody. I'm not going to reforge that type of gear. Similar here, a gear you never should have started. We see flat attack. It rolled into that flat attack at least once. So even though you got, what, 2 rolls into speed, this is not going to be a good piece of gear for someone, and it's going to be under. Level 71, we don't want. Then we see some pieces here that maybe you got for free and you rolled. Now this one, speed, flat HP, effect resist. This was another flat. I wouldn't have started this, right? Because I have 2 flats against my rules. If this were flat defense, flat health, then I wouldn't have started it. Or maybe you do because you really need gear, and then you want everything to roll into health percent, effect resist, avoid these 2, and then mod 1 out. That's not too bad. If this were a flat defense up here, I would have kept it and then modded flat health into defense percent. That would have given you better stat line than to have this flat health. Overall, it's not terrible, but this is epic quality boots, and this is the score I expect from heroic. Right? Reforged heroic, I want 85. This is an 83. Epic, I want 90 plus, so we're way under. So opposite, this one, pretty good. Rolled 104. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Really high into health, attack, crit chance, good. Flat defense. You could mod this if you want. I would honestly leave it. This is going to be about like a 12%. No, this is going to be 7% on a 600 defense hero. It's pretty good. This one I like as well. You can mod this one into maybe even health, but I think I always just leave it. Leave it as defense. Very defensive base hero. This one's a 95. I want at least a 90. I like it. This one here, something I wouldn't have started. Again, you're on epic boots, but you rolled a heroic quality, right? Because you had 2 flat and you had a mod 1 out. And then your last roll, maybe your plus 15 roll, went into flat attack. Actually, I think you went 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Two rolls into a flat attack here. That's why you ended up low. That's why you ended up low. Still, I mean, it's a usable piece. You already have it. Don't throw it away. But not a piece I probably would have started. Let's see what else we got. We see attack, crit chance, crit damage, effectiveness. Those three are good together. You can mod this into speed. I think that would be okay. 74, though, I want at least an 80, so a little undervalued. What I'm seeing as sort of a common theme is that you have gear that's undervalued because you're starting with pieces that are lower than I would start with. Going with what I would consider to be good gear, you're going to roll less pieces of gear. You're going to throw more pieces of gear away. But the pieces that you end up reforging are going to be much better. Like heroic 85, I want a 74. You got a 66, bro, on epic. Like this is a piece that I would just throw away. You're going to end up with heroes that are really undervalued, undergeared, and heroes that are going to fail because not because you have the wrong stats, but because your gear is just like way under what it should be. Snow Me the Way, such a fun title and very fitting. We were able to cut down this player's gear by half. Now, this not only gives us some gold from selling all that stuff that was pending, but it also saves us a lot of gold. That way, we don't have to spend a lot of resources leveling up gear that's going to be terrible and that we're going to have to replace later anyway. So, now, over the next week or so, we're going to continue to get rewards, but really, what we're waiting for is a free unequip event. It'll probably cost me 50 million gold unequipping all of this player's heroes and re-equipping them. So doing it on a free unequip event is going to be the best solution. And that's really going to help us to now focus on the heroes that we need to go into nightmare mode, the heroes that we need to go into arena, and the heroes that we need to further get into end game and really start to crack down on making progress, right? It's been about a week, and I'm really looking forward to making progress on this account. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so other people just like you can find it as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.